because local matters.
The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors have been proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, but competent, and the dependable staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At J.W. Williams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcements for the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Ms. Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of the Reverend Robert Clemmy Gaston Sr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins of Vienna, Georgia. The family of Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins of Vienna, Georgia. The family of Mr. Johnny C. Lewis of Cordele, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Cordele civil rights activist, the Reverend Robert Clemmy Gaston Sr., age 80, of 807 West 17th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Thursday, December 24th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Cordele civil rights activist, the Reverend Robert Clemmy Gaston Sr., age 80, was held Wednesday, December 30th, graveside at the Bethlehem Baptist Church Cemetery in Doolin, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church and president of the Cordele Chris NAACP, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Kendira Daniel Gaston of Cordele, Georgia. His loving and devoted children, Mr. Clemmy C. Gaston Jr. and his wife, Mrs. Teresa Gaston, Mrs. Patricia Faye Bryant and her husband, Mr. Raymond Bryant, Mrs. Melinda Tennant and her husband, Mr. Hugh Tennant, and Ms. Diane Bentley, all of Titusville, Florida. Mrs. Veronica Felton and her husband, Mr. Darrell Felton, and Ms. Candace Gaston, both of Cordele, Georgia, and Ms. Jenny Gaston Malden and her husband, Mr. Michael Malden of Warner Robins, Georgia. His beloved and devoted stepchildren, Ms. Warner Daniels and Ms. Shantez Daniels, both of Cordele, Georgia. A host of grandchildren and great-grandchildren, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Bertha Norwood of Cordele, Georgia, and Mrs. Annie Doris Branton and her husband, Mr. Isaac Brandon of Tampa, Florida. His beloved brothers, Mr. Robert Lee Gaston and his wife, Mrs. Annie Mae Gaston, and Mr. Bobby Dean Gaston, both of Tampa, Florida. His beloved mother-in-law, Mrs. Thelma Smith of Cordele, Georgia. His sisters-in-law, Mrs. Deborah Dawson, and her husband, Mr. Russell Dawson of Cordele, Georgia. Miss Michelle Daniels of Warner Robins, Georgia, and Miss Laura Daniels of Bonaire, Georgia. His brother-in-law, Mr. Kelvin Daniels of Cordele, Georgia. A host of nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Cordele civil rights activist, the Reverend Robert Clement Gaston Sr., age 80, of 807 West 17th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins, age 66, of 401 Porter Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Sunday, December 27th at the Crossview Care Center in Pineview, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins was held Saturday, January 2nd, graveside at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia. His beloved brother-in-law, co-pastor Leroy Reynolds of the Faith Deliverance Temple of Hawkinsville, Georgia, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Priscilla Collins and Mr. Johnny Collins Jr., both of Pineview, Georgia, Mr. Bartrick Peacock of Detroit, Michigan, his beloved grandchildren, a beloved and loving sister, Overseer Annie Reynolds, and her husband, co-pastor Leroy Reynolds of Vienna, Georgia. A host of nieces and nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins, age 66, of 401 Porter Street, Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins, age 33, of 716 Burton Street, Vienna, Georgia, died Saturday, December 5th in Saline, Kansas. The funeral service for Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins was held Saturday, January 2nd, graveside at the Vienna City Cemetery in Vienna, Georgia. His beloved uncle, co-pastor Leroy Reynolds of Faith Deliverance Temple of Hawkinsville, Georgia, officiated. Survivors include his beloved and precious daughter, little Micaiah Collins of Vienna, Georgia. His beloved companion, Miss Michael Lachey Owens of Vienna, Georgia. His beloved sisters, Miss Gloria Collins Smith and her husband, Mr. Dwayne Smith of Saline, Kansas, Miss Savannah Dawson and Miss Donna Dawson, both of Vienna, Georgia, and Mrs. Gwendolyn Dawson of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Daniel Collins of Vienna, Georgia, and Mr. Benny Dawson of Columbus, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncles, Overseer Annie Reynolds and her husband, co-pastor Leroy Reynolds of Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Terry Dawson and his wife, Mrs. Claudia Dawson, and Mrs. Aletha Dawson, all of Cordele, Georgia. A host of cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins, age 33, of 716 Burton Street, Vienna, Georgia. Mr. Johnny C. Lewis, age 57, of 1006 Gum Drive, Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, December 28th at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Johnny C. Lewis, age 57, was held Saturday, January 2nd, graveside at the Bethel Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. His beloved sister, Pastor Prophetess Rosa Sanford, pastor of Holy Evangelistic Temple of God, officiated. Survivors include his beloved and loving daughters, Miss April Manning and Miss Felicia Stretchen, both of Cordele, Georgia. 4 beloved grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, his beloved brothers, Mr. Willie Lewis and his wife, Mrs. Tamika Lewis, Mr. Norman Lewis, and Deacon Sonny Blanks, and his wife, Mrs. Mary Blanks of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. George Lewis and his wife, Mrs. May Lewis, Mr. Michael Lewis, and Mr. Charles Lewis and his wife, Mrs. Deborah Lewis, all of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved sisters, Pastor Prophetess Rosa Sanford and her husband, Elder Billy Wayne Sanford, and Miss Enora Cross, all of Cordele, Georgia. His beloved uncle and aunt, Mrs. Leroy Colbert and his wife, Mrs. Dolores Colbert, and Miss Norma Broughton of Vienna, Georgia. A host of nieces and nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends, to include Miss Brenda Stretchen of Cordele, Georgia, survived Mr. Johnny C. Lewis, age 57, of 1006 Gum Drive, Cordele, Georgia. Again, the family of Cordele civil rights activist, the Reverend Robert Clement Gaston Sr. of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins of Vienna, Georgia, the family of Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins of Vienna, Georgia, the family of Mr. Johnny C. Lewis of Cordele, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Miss Carrie Bell Gaines, age 67, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, December 28th, at Wellstar Spalding Regional Hospital in Griffin, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mrs. Stephanie L. Gaines Marine of Griffin, Georgia, Mr. Michael A. Gaines and his wife, Mrs. Shalonda Gaines of Valdosta, Georgia, and Miss Felicia Gaines of Cordele, Georgia. 10 loving and devoted grandchildren, 6 beloved great-grandchildren, her beloved and devoted brother, Mr. Willie George Gaines of Cordele, Georgia, a beloved aunt, Mrs. Martha Ruth Westbrook of Araby, Georgia, a host of nieces nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Carrie Bell Gaines, age 67, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Carrie Bell Gaines, age 67, will be held today, Sunday, January 3rd, at 12:30 p.m. Graveside at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery, Hatley Community, Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will officiate. And her son, Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines, age 46, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Friday, December 18th at Eternal Hope Hospice in Griffin, Georgia. Survivors include his beloved mother, Miss Carrie Bell Gaines of Griffin, Georgia, his loving and devoted sisters, Miss Stephanie Vereen of Griffin, Georgia, Miss Stephanie Walker, and Miss Felicia Gaines, both of Cordele, Georgia, his beloved and caring brother, Mr. Michael Gaines, and his wife, Mrs. Shalonda Gaines of Valdosta, Georgia, his beloved aunts and uncles, Mr. Willie Gaines of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Martha Ruth Westbrook, Mrs. Mary Arner and her husband, Mr. Governor Arner, Mrs. Annette Putman, Miss Martha Paul, and Miss Dorothy Paul, all of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. John Paul of Diana, Georgia, his beloved nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines, age 46, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The committal services for Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines, age 46, will be held today, Sunday, January 3rd, at 12:30 p.m. Graveside at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery, Hatley Community, Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will officiate. Deacon Edgar Laster, Jr., age 96, as Vice Chairman of the Macedonia Baptist Church Board of Deacons, Drayton Community, of 3927 Highway 280 East, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, December 30th, at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Bernice Franklin Laster of Cordele, Georgia, his loving and devoted children, Mr. John Lester and his wife, Mrs. Earlene Lester, and Mrs. Annie L. Smith, both of Diana, Georgia, Mr. Edgar Lester, Jr. of Columbus, Georgia, Miss Ruby Holder and her husband, Mr. Johnny Holder, of Melbourne, Florida, Mrs. Carolyn Clark and her husband, Mr. Willie Clark, of Winter Haven, Florida, Mrs. Vicki Hayes and her husband, Mr. Alvin Hayes, of Jacksonville, Florida, Missionary Gwen Relaford and her husband, Deacon Wallace Relaford, Mrs. Vivian Fullwood and Mrs. Beverly Brown and her husband, Mr. Donald Brown, all of Cordele, Georgia. 34 beloved grandchildren, to include a devoted grandson whom he assisted in rearing, Mr. Dante Brown of Cordele, Georgia. 49 beloved great-grandchildren, 40 great-great-grandchildren, a very devoted daughter-in-law, Mrs. Marcella Laster, his beloved sisters, Mrs. Annie Grace of Canton, Ohio, and Mrs. Alina Laster of Columbus, Ohio. His beloved brothers, Mr. James Laster and his wife, Mrs. Lois Laster, and Mr. Oscar Laster, both of Atlanta, Georgia. His sisters-in-law, Mrs. Shirley Ray, Mrs. Jana Cook, Mrs. Lorraine Washington, Miss Willie Pearl Reiser, and her husband, Mr. Oscar Reiser, Miss Jan Laster, Mrs. Gloria Franklin, his brother-in-law, Mr. Henry Bennett, and his wife, Mrs. Ann Bennett, Mr. Rayfield Baldwin and his wife, Miss Mary Baldwin, and Mr. Willie Franklin and his wife, Mrs. Shirley Franklin. A host of nieces, nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Deacon Edgar Laster Jr., age 96, past vice chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Macedonia Baptist Church, Drayton Community, of 3927 Highway 280 East, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Edgar Laster Jr., past vice chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Macedonia Baptist Church, will be held Wednesday, January 6, 2021, at 1 p.m. graveside at the Macedonia Baptist Church Cemetery, Drayton Community, Vienna, Georgia. Reverend James Lundy will officiate. The public walk-up visitation will be held Tuesday, January 5th, from 1 until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors, serving Cordele and Vienna, are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And also, whole life insurance is available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. First morning worship.
Two 253-993-3761. You're also reminded of their Wednesday evening worship service at 6:45 p.m. And again, that conference call number is 253-993-3761. Pastor Johnny Dean is the pastor. Your You're invited to worship with the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church. Conference call schedule is as follows. Sunday morning worship service at 9 o'clock a.m. Tuesday midday prayer conference at 12 o'clock noon. Thursday prayer meeting and Bible study is held at 6 o'clock p.m. The call-in number for the conference call is 229-329-7611. Again, that number is 229-329-7611. Mother Lucia Shazer, Church Mother, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. K.M. Williams is the pastor. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church invites you to worship with them. Their conference call schedule is as follows. Each Sunday morning at 10 o'clock a.m., prayer meeting is held on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 o'clock noon. Bible study is held each Wednesday at 5 o'clock p.m. The conference call-in number is 515-604-9765. 515-604-9765. The access code is 288180. Deacon Joe Wedges is the chairman of deacons. Dr. Dan James III is the pastor. There will be a first aid and CPR training held on Thursday, January 7, 2021 at 127 West 13th Avenue from 6 until 8 o'clock p.m. The cost is $30 per person, and you may contact Ms. Barbara Clark at 229-947-2234. Again, that number is 229-947-2234 for reservations. There are limited space, face masks are required, and social distancing is being practiced. Again, a first aid and CPR training held on January the 7th, Thursday, January the 7th at 127 West 13th Avenue from 6 until 8 o'clock p.m., $30 per person, and contact Ms. Barbara Clark for more information. The Gethsemane Baptist Church invites you to worship with them each Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. via Zoom. The numbers for you to call in for the Zoom public call-in number is 312-626-6799. The meeting ID is 846-9805-5243. The passcode is 50814. Bible study is held each Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. via conference call, and you may join us for Bible study by calling 229-234-9066. Again, the Gethsemane Baptist Church invites you to worship with them each Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. via Zoom. And the numbers for the Zoom call-in are 312-626-6799. The meeting ID is 846-9805-5243, and the passcode is 50814. Reverend Cecil Strother is the pastor. The Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church invites you to worship with them today on Facebook Live. The worship service will begin at 10 o'clock a.m. Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church invites you to worship with them today at 10 o'clock a.m. on Facebook Live. Reverend Gregory Williams is the pastor. The St. King Baptist Church invites you to worship with them today. Worship service begins at 8 o'clock a.m. for an hour of power, at 9 o'clock a.m. for Sunday school, and at 10:15 a.m. for worship service. Reverend Woody C. Burnham is the pastor. Reverend Joyce Daniels is the co-pastor. We'd like to remind you that coming up on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, it is Election Day. And if you need a ride to the poll, you're invited to give us a call at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, 229-273-2683. Between the hours of 10 and 5, we will furnish a ride to the polls between the hours of 10 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. We would like to also remind you as you're preparing to ride in us that a face mask will be required, and also your hands and shoes will be sanitized before entering the vehicle. And please wear your mask as we practice social distancing and also as we take this opportunity to exercise our right to vote. Remember, that's Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. And we have one other graphic that we will show that will also encourage you to vote as well. And we'll go to that graphic now. The Cordial Crisp Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance will present an hour of power for our nation and against our battle against COVID-19. The schedule has changed. The new schedule for the year of 2021 will be each third Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. And you may join them via conference call by calling 657-390-4570. Again, we remind you that the Cordial Crisp Area Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, an hour of power for our nation and our fight against COVID-19. The schedule has changed for 2021. It will be held each third Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. via conference call 657-390-4570. Pastor Johnny Dean is the host. Back to me.
We'll continue with our announcements with the Reverend Isaac H. Owens. And while Reverend Owens is preparing for his final announcement, we do remind you to please have your announcements in to the J.W. Williams Funeral Home each week by Saturday at 12 noon. You may fax your announcements at 229-273-5111, or you may email at jwwilliamsfh@bellsouth.net, and you're welcome to drop your announcements and dedication off to our location. Please have your announcements in by 12 noon on each Saturday, and we'll gladly prepare those announcements for being aired on Sunday morning. And we do encourage you to please take advantage of on Tuesday, your final day for this upcoming election for voting. Please come out and vote. And remember that the J.W. Williams Funeral Home will provide a ride from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. So feel free to call the funeral home and we'll gladly come to your home and pick you up, take you to and from the poll.
As we continue this morning with our announcements, we've just, again, as Deacon Parker has encouraged you, please let us take this opportunity to exercise our right to vote. This is such an important time, and we ask that you, as you prepare to go to the polls, that you be very knowledgeable. The eyes of the nation are watching the state of Georgia, and this is our golden opportunity for us to stand up and be counted. So please take the opportunity. If you have not early voted, please exercise your right to vote. The polls will open this coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock a.m. and they will close at 7 o'clock p.m. And oh, what joy it would be to have such a long line out there. They are still having people to wait at 7 o'clock p.m. Again, remember that rides will be furnished to the polls. If you need a ride, beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., they call the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, and we will have a ride, pick you up from your home and take you back home after you have taken the opportunity to vote. We'd also like to remind you that the Cordial Crisp chapter of the NAACP will have its regular monthly meeting on Sunday, January 10th at 4 o'clock p.m. at Blackshear Place. All members and anyone interested in becoming a member is asked to please attend. Dr. Ruby Jackson is the secretary. Reverend Isaac H. Owens is the branch president. That concludes our announcements for today.
And now for dedication. Our first election this morning is dedicated to the following: in loving memory of our friend and brother, Brother Bruce Davis Sr., who would have celebrated his birthday December 27th. Dedication requested by his beloved children, grandchildren, his beloved aunt, Mrs. Mary Frances Davis, and the entire family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Annie B. Carter Wedges, who departed this life December 30th, 1997. Dedication requested by her son, Deacon Joe Wedges, and the Carter family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of United States Army veteran, Mrs. Liza Crawford Barrett, who would have celebrated her birthday January 2nd. Dedication requested by her husband, Deacon Sammy Barrett, the children, grandchildren, and the entire Barrett and Crawford family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Edwina Carter, who would have celebrated her birthday January 4th. Dedication requested by the Carter and Shorter's family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mrs. Annie Mae Coffin, who departed this life January 4th, 2018. Dedication requested by the Porter family and the members of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church. In loving memory of Mr. Jake Burden, who departed this life January 4th, 2011. Dedication requested by the entire Burden family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Deacon Albert Montfrey, who departed this life January 7, 1991. Dedication requested by the Montfrey and Manning families. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mr. John W. Turner, who departed this life January 9, 1992. Dedication requested by the Turner family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Emma McClendon, and also in loving memory of Mr. Ernest McClendon, who would have celebrated their birthday January 9th. Dedication requested by the McClendon family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mrs. Vera Curler Ray, who departed this life on January 9th, 1998. Dedication requested by the Ray family. Gone but not forgotten. Our first election this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday to Mrs. Phyllis Collier Green, who celebrated her birthday Friday, January 1st. Dedication requested by her daughters and the entire family. Happy birthday to Mr. Zacchaeus Haddad West, who celebrated his birthday Saturday, January 2nd. Dedication requested by Mrs. Shanita Collier Grace. Happy birthday to Miss Christine Callahan, who is celebrating her birthday on today, Sunday, January 3rd. Dedication requested by the entire family. Happy birthday to Mr. Sammy Collier, who will celebrate his birthday Tuesday, January 4th. Dedication requested by the Collier family. Happy 11th birthday to Miss Kylie Smith, who will celebrate her birthday Tuesday, January 5th. Dedication requested by her parents, her brothers, grandparents, great-grandparents, the entire Smith, Herman, and Kinder family. Happy birthday, Kylie, and many, many more. Happy birthday to Mrs. Ella Lester Welcher, who will celebrate her birthday Wednesday, January 6th. Dedication requested by her beloved children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. and the entire family. Happy birthday to Miss Cynthia Jackson, who will celebrate her birthday Friday, January 8th. Dedication requested by her beloved children and the entire Jackson family. Special birthday wish goes out to Mrs. Dorothy Rose Jones, who will celebrate her birthday Saturday, January 9th. Dedication requested by our children, grandchildren, the entire Jones family, and the staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Happy birthday to Mrs. Dorothy Rose Jones. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Special dedication goes out to R.N. Maggie Outlaw. I want to thank her for appearing on our program on last Sunday morning to give the vaccine to myself and Dr. Salami there. We thank you, R.N. Maggie Outlaw. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: Mother Easter Byron and family, Mr. Johnny and Mrs. Juanita Tarbert and family, Mr. Ray Rollins and family, Mr. Lonnie Williams and family, Sister Willie Mae Crapp and the entire Crapp family, Mr. A.B. and Miss Valerie Levant and family, Mrs. Eddie Mae Levant and family, Mrs. Juanita Montfort and family, Miss Patricia Turner and family, Mrs. Carrie Bell Levant and family, Mrs. Betty Jean Montfort and family, Miss Bernice Pittman and family, Miss Gail Chanel and family, Mrs. Jerry Harvey and family, Miss Rosalind Oliver and family, Miss Katrina Jones and family, the Armstrong family, the Montfort family, the Palmer family, the Hoggebrook family, Miss Mary Kendrick and family, Deacon Dennis Harris and family, Minister Pamela Harris and family, Mr. and Mrs. Ricky Harneman and family, Mrs. Mary Frances Davis and family, Mr. Justin Colbert and family, Miss Shalana Donaldson and family, Miss Nebby Cross and family, Mr. Tommy Glenn and family, Mr. Judge Glenn and family, Mother Jessie Ezel and family, Mrs. B.J. Ezel and the staff of BJ's Diner and family, Mother Willie McGill and family, Miss Burrow Patrick and family, Miss Mary Taylor and family, Deacon Zachary, Miss Lavetta Fields and family, Miss Mashonda Holmes and family, Mrs. Martha Ruth Westbrook and family of Araby, Georgia. The Reverend Donnie and Mrs. Amanda Hall and family, the Reverend Plesley Nelson and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Jessie Watts and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Willie James Felton and family, Deacon Sammy, Mrs. Fanny Montfrey and family, Mrs. Betty Epps and family, Miss Latasha Smith and family, Miss Rosa Epps and family, Miss Vera Card and family, Miss Dorothy Paul and family, Miss Val Card and family, Mr. F.D. Lawton and family, Miss Barbara Roberts and family, Mrs. Tasha Trice and family, the Carter family, Miss Shonda Hutchison and family, Mrs. Selena Jackson and family, Miss Vivian Daniels and family, Mrs. Jackie Lattimore and family, Miss Lottie Tarbert and family, the Epps and Lawton family, Miss Sarah Jackson and family, Miss Patricia White and family, Mrs. Francie Relaford and family, Mr. Tommy and Mrs. Bernice Relaford and family, Miss Corrine Peterson Passmore and family, Miss Geraldine Perry and family, Mother Mary Picola Jackson and family, Miss Gwen Jackson and family, Missionary Irene and the Reverend L.C. Cantrell and family, Mrs. Clara Nell Carter and family, Miss Christine Graham and family, Deacon and Mrs. Lauren Wellens and family, Deacon Vet T. and Miss Willie Mae Crane and family, Pinehurst, Georgia, Mrs. Doris Wise and family, Mrs. Betty and Miss Brenda Webbs and family, Dr. Beverly Bolden and family, Deacon Chester Mike Williams and family, Mr. Kelvin and Mrs. Carol Morrell and family, Mr. Otis and Miss Mary Blanks and family, Elder and Prophetess Rosa Sanford and family. And this selection goes out to my neighbor, Mrs. Theron Jones and family, to the Jones and Tarbert family, Mrs. Dorothy Tarbert and family. Our first selection this morning goes out to Deacon James Smith and family.
just a word till you mean what you say. And love is love till you give it away. We all gotta give, yeah, something to give to make a change. On and on, it's hard.
next election this morning is dedicated to the following: the Reverend Jeff Wilson and family, the Reverend Nelson Maynard, his mother, Mrs. May Maynard, and family, the Reverend Ivory and Sister Dorothy Corbin and family, the Reverend Joseph Atkins and family, Bishop and Mrs. Sammy Haynes and family, Bishop and Mrs. Arthur West and family, Dr. and Mrs. Bobby G. West and family, Dr. Ruby Jackson and family, the Reverend Johnny and Dr. Diane Hosley and family, Mrs. Lily Kate Granville Cotton and family, Deacon Henry King and family, Miss Betty Robertson and family, Mrs. Gladys Foster and family, Miss Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, Deacon Earl Leary and family, Miss Patricia Leary and family, Mr. Eddie Leary and family, Miss William Carter, and the entire Carter family of Hatley, Georgia, Mrs. Pearl Reed and family, Mrs. Maggie Harmon and family, Mother Jessie Kate Harmon and family, Miss Eddie Mae Cooks and family, past City Council Chairman, Vice Chairman, Mr. A.J. Rivers and Miss Vera Rivers and family. And I think I saw on Facebook where Mother Rivers celebrated a birthday during this past week there. Happy birthday, Mother Vera Rivers. Mrs. Ethel Fullwood and family, Missionary Clement Jones and family, the Reverend Leonard Boston and family, Miss Lily Mae Rockwell and family, Mrs. Jackie Bokum and family, the McAdoo family, Mr. Calvin Smith and family, Miss Sandra Simpson and family, Mr. Robert Harvey and family, Mr. Harold Bryan and family, Mrs. Martha Hayes and family, the prayer warrior Dorothy Williams and family of Albany, Georgia, Mr. Cleveland Paul and family, Mrs. Martha King and family, Mr. and Mrs. John L. Williams and family, Mrs. Betty Rivers and family, Mr. Tyrone and Ms. Angela Walker and family, the Reverend Terrell Tate and family, Mr. Larry Bryan and family, Mr. Alvin Adams and family, Mr. Sababian Smith and family, Mrs. Elaine Walker and family, Mrs. Jessie Mae Corbin and family, Thelma Brown and family, Mr. Hinton Dean and family, Mrs. Helen Dean and family, Vera Card and family, Mr. Kent Clark and family, Mr. John and Ms. Geraldine Lewis and family, Mrs. Dorothy Dean and family, Ms. Jeanette Dean and family, Mr. Dwight and Mrs. Tara Tennant and family, Ms. Cassandra Morris and family, Mr. Lorenzo Jones and family, Mr. Roosevelt and Miss Phyllis Williams and family, Deacon Al and Miss Sabrina Jones and family, Miss Sue Hardage and family, and Mrs. Betty Wilson and family. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Mrs. Carrie Bell Gaines, age 67, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, December 28, at the Wellstar Spalding Regional Hospital in Griffin, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Carrie Bell Gaines, age 67, will be held today, Sunday, January 3rd, at 12:30 p.m., graveside at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery, Hatley Community, Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will officiate. And her son, Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines, age 46, of 303 East 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Friday, December 18th at Eternal Hope Hospice in Griffin, Georgia. The committal service for Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines, age 46, will be held today, Sunday, January 3rd, 2021, 12:30 p.m., graveside at the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery, Hatley Community, Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Isaac H. Owens, pastor of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church, will officiate. Deacon Edgar Laster Jr., age 96, past Vice Chairman of the Macedonia Baptist Church, Drayton Community, of 3927 Highway 280 East, Cordele, Georgia, died Wednesday, December 30th at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Deacon Edgar Laster Jr., age 96, past vice chairman of the Macedonia Baptist Church, Drayton Community, will be held Wednesday, January 6th at 1 p.m. graveside at the Macedonia Baptist Church Cemetery, Drayton Community, Vienna, Georgia. The Reverend James Lundy will officiate. The public walk-up visitation will be Tuesday, January 5th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. The J.W. Williams Funeral Director serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Cordele civil rights activist, the Reverend Robert Clement Gaston Sr. of Cordele, Georgia, the family of Mr. Johnny Bernard Collins of Vienna, Georgia, the family of Mr. Rodriguez Lamar Collins of Vienna, Georgia, the family of Mr. Johnny C. Lewis of Cordele, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Miss Carrie Bell Gaines of Cordele, Georgia, and her son, the family of Mr. Jonathan Bernard Gaines of Cordele, Georgia, and the family of Deacon Edgar Laster Jr., past vice chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Macedonia Baptist Church, Drayton Community. This selection is dedicated to all of the sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, goes out to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker. The selection goes out to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker. The selection goes out to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, and his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and to my niece, Miss Toria Dexter, and Noble Dexter, and hope they are doing fine this morning. To my sister, Mrs. Maddie Mae Johnson, better known as Sister Girl, and Mrs. Patsy Smith, and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson, and family of Cordele, Georgia. This selection goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, and to our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams. Again, invite you to worship via conference call this morning at 9 a.m. Goes out to the mother of our church, Mother Lucille Shazer, age 107, and will be 108 this 2021 year. God bless you, Mother. Lead on to be in February, so we'll start celebrating now. 108 years old in February of 2021, and spoke with her yesterday. Says you're going to put her tithes to the church. Yes, her tithes to the church. Called me to pick up her tithes for the church out of her mailbox on yesterday. 107 years old, putting her tithes to the church. That'll say something to us, family. God bless you. Mother Lucille Shazer. And this election goes out to our beloved Mrs. Easter Bay Sanders and family. And again, to each and everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. God bless you in this 2021 year. Happy New Year.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. In your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.